tantôt. Si j'ai des difficultés avec mon français, aidez-moi. Okay? Yes, merci beaucoup. Donc, mesdames et messieurs, please welcome to the stage, Stefan Kapičić!
Hey, hi guys. Hi. Hi everyone. I haven't seen you wearing the...
Oh, I'm taking my visa.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. Hi guys.
How's it going? Comment ça va?
Well, bien.
Bien?
Yeah, bien. I'm like jet lagged, so I'll talk Spanish instead of French. Or German.
Ah, sprechen Sie Deutsch?
Ja.
Ja, sehr gut. Mein Deutsch ist nicht so gut, aber Französisch nicht so gut, aber.
Well, I'll stay on English because even this is not working really well.
Donc, il a un peu un jet lag, comment on dit décalage d'horaire. Ok, donc, so it's going to be a chill one, a relaxed one. On va commencer avec quelque chose d'assez simple, just an icebreaker. What's your favorite French word?
Merde.
Oh, it's a good one. It's a good one.
And I know that Colossus was supposed in the sequel, we had the F word in the States.
Yes.
So Colossus was, and in French it was like merde, which kind of...
That's right, because Colossus usually would not
He never swears, except when Deadpool is dying.
Donc Colossus, généralement, il dit pas des gros mots, et dans la version anglaise, il dit fuck, et en français, il a dit merde. Did you know that so merde in France is actually a way to say good luck to actors? Right? Okay. So you know like how English people say break a leg? En France, on dit merde before you do a show. And the reason is, before there were cars, right, if you had a successful theatre show, people would come with carriages on horses. And so if there was a lot of shit outside the theatre, you were doing really well. So merde. Merde for you.
It's great info, yeah.
Vous savez ça qu'il y avait plein de merde dehors le théâtre, c'est pour ça que merde c'est une bonne chance quoi. There you go, you learned a little something? So you played Colossus.
Yeah.
I'm going to need the microphone.
Yep, I do. I just don't know if I just was nodding with my hat.
So you played Colossus. I'd like to know, how does it feel, right, you can be as honest as you want, how does it feel to play a character that's such a badass, right? Now, Colossus can transform, but he didn't transform once in Deadpool.
Unfortunately, yeah, I would have much more crazy people around me. But the thing is, Tim Miller, the director of Deadpool, decided that because of the comedy aspect and moment, it would be much funnier to see Colossus in his metal form eating cereal or taking a shower or whatever than to see, you know, a human. Which Colossus is not like, you know, he's not just in that form. That's his superpower.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, but you never know what's going to happen in the future because of all the success we have with franchise. Do you want to translate? Or? Okay. So we'll see what's going to happen. Now we are saved in the end of Deadpool and Wolverine, and now they're like X Men are coming. So I'm just hoping that you're going to see me in my own human form.
That would be nice.
Well, I have to bulk up definitely when the time comes.
For the comedy, it would be really funny if you had Colossus as this badass, and then he transforms into someone that's like jet lag.
Yeah, that would be funny. Yeah, that would be great. That would be fun.
J'avais demandé comment il se ressentait pour le fait que Colossus il peut se transformer en fait. Dans la série généralement il peut, mais dans les films de Deadpool il n'a pas transformé une fois. Et en tant que comédien, en tant qu'acteur, peut-être que c'est un peu chiant quoi, parce que sinon les gens ne savent pas que c'est Colossus. Et donc on verra. Peut-être qu'avec le succès de Deadpool, peut-être qu'un jour Colossus va se transformer. Il va devoir aller à la gym. Mais pour l'humour, peut-être que ça serait marrant que Colossus just transforms into lui.
Yeah, with jet lag.
Yeah. If Colossus had his own film, would you want to see the version where he gained his power, so an origin story, or now that he's already established, should we have a Colossus movie where he's just already Colossus? Donc, est-ce que s'il a son film pour lui, est-ce que c'est une histoire d'origine, comment il s'est transformé en Colossus, ou est-ce qu'on fait un film et il est déjà Colossus?
I would definitely go for the origin story because it's, you know, it would be really good. And we could have his sister, which is Magic, or how do you pronounce it? Ileana. So that would be kind of great story, you know. But it's never up to us. It's up to the big guys over there who think, and you know, the focus groups and everything else.
I suppose it is up to them. But
Yeah. I wish it's, you know, I always go for origin story. I'm a comic book geek, so I love to see how it started, and then, you know, what's going on now, and then for the sequel, we can always do, you know, what's going on at the moment.
But Colossus, I'd say, has gained popularity, because there was a Colossus once in an X Men film, and you know,
It was more like Silver Surfer slash T-1000 kind of thing.
Yeah,
it was weird. Yeah.
But you own, like, this is Colossus.
Because Tim Miller, as I'm saying, you know, he's a comic book geek too. So, you know, when it comes to his production studio, it's like hundreds of comic books. He knows everything about every character. So he wanted to be as much comic book accurate as he could.
Yeah.
So even he was like thinking about the Colossus from the video game, if you remember, like in the 90s, like, oh, yeah. So that's one of the things. He wanted like the accent to be as much. I'm coming from Serbia, from Eastern Europe, so it's like my accent is Slavic. It's close to Russian. So that's why he wanted to be as close as he can to the thing that he had in his vision. So thank God that happened.
Donc s'il y a un film pour Colossus, il aimerait bien faire l'histoire de l'origine. Et le directeur, le réalisateur Tim Miller, c'est un vrai geek. Et donc je crois que ça serait possible de faire le film. What else do I need to translate? I'm sort of roughly playing it out.
Yeah, I know. Saying about the accent.
Oh yeah. And bien sûr, lui, il a la voix serbe. Et donc pour lui, c'était. How did you get the role, by the way? How did you get the Colossus role?
It was the audition, and the first thing that happened was that I got sides for because all these Marvel movies are top secret, and you never know what you're going for. You just get like sides for something, and you don't know what that is. For example, this project was codenamed Wham.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was talking to George. So I was thinking that I'm going for a biopic of George Michael. Because it was like that.
So for the first film...
Yeah, that was the first side that I got. It was like a movie called Wham, and it's like he's talking to George, and I'm like, you know...
Okay, yeah.
I don't know who I was... It's like a father figure, which said that, which was just really funny.
Donc quand il a fait l'audition pour Colossus, le titre du projet c'était Wham, et George Michael, c'est un artiste anglais, je ne sais pas si vous connaissez, et avant qu'il était George Michael, il était dans un groupe qui s'appelait Wham. Et donc lui, il croyait qu'il faisait une audition pour jouer avec George Michael, parce que la scène c'était Wham, c'était avec une scène avec George, et le mec disait, une note c'était qu'il est un peu comme parental. Comment on dit parental? C'est un parentin? C'est ça, pour parentin. Donc lui, il se disait, peut-être que je vais jouer le père de...
Yeah, and I didn't know, but I did it, like I tried to do it, and I did it, so they called me back, and they're like, okay, now we will change the names of the character. They still didn't say which one. It's like a superhero movie, but now it's Wade, and there's only one Wade, it's Wade Wilson, so George disappeared, even though we have Last Christmas, if you remember the first Deadpool, you know, the music of George Michael, and it's a leitmotif. But anyway, so I did 143 takes.
133.
43 takes, and I had...
For the audition?
For the audition.
Oh my God.
And I was crazy because I'm a comic book geek, so for me it was, you know, I'll do everything I can.
Yeah.
So I had to choose just 3. No, sorry, to send it back.
Oh, self-tape.
Self-tape, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can relate.
Okay, yeah.
I thought you meant you were in the room. I was like, yo,
No,
that's
143 self-tapes, and then just to choose 3 to send it to Los Angeles.
And was that for Wham, or was that for the next one?
Well, that was for the one.
Okay,
The second, no, that was for the second one.
Okay.
That's for the second one, in which I got the monologue from the end of the movie, which goes, what Deadpool wants to kill Ajax, and then you do, wait, 4 or 5 moments. That's all it takes. Be a hero. You know, so I had to do that 143 times. It was like, you know, lots of these tapes were like so similar, but in one detail you say, you know, maybe a little less, a little more. In the end, my girlfriend at the time, now my wife, helped me, you know, to choose 3. We sent it, and then they called me and they said, you need to fly in. And I was playing Romeo and Juliet in Dubrovnik, in Croatia, theater performance. So I had like just 2 days of break. And I said, can I do it after? They said, no, if you can't come here, you know, right now, or it's gone. So I flew for 1 day to Los Angeles. I met all the guys, you know.
So are you constantly jet lagged?
Constantly.
Jet lagged. Le pauvre, donc il a fait l'audition pour Wham, et après ils ont bien aimé, donc ils ont dit, écoute, c'est pas Wham, c'est pour un truc de super-héros, mais ils ont pas encore dit Deadpool ou quelque chose. Il a fait environ 143 versions de son audition, parce que généralement, maintenant les comédiens ils font des self-tapes, donc tu peux t'enregistrer chez toi, et ça fait, tu sais, parce qu'en plus tu es en train de regarder, you know, you check your self-tapes, donc tu analyses, you're always analyzing, tu analyses un peu trop. Il a fait 143 fois, et après il a dû regarder tout ça, il a choisi 3, il a envoyé tout ça, et ils ont bien aimé sa version, et pendant que il y a un callback, donc ils ont aimé, ils l'ont invité à Los Angeles, mais il était en train de faire Romeo and Juliet. Where was that?
In Croatia, in Dubrovnik.
In Croatia. Et il a dit, bah écoute, je suis en train de faire ce théâtre, là je peux pas venir. Bah, eux ils ont dit, soit tu viens ou tu viens pas. Et donc il a été à Los Angeles pour 24 heures, donc il est toujours en décalage d'horaire. Et are you sure you're here now? Maybe you're still in LA.
I don't know, because the end of the story is I did that for 5 hours, filming there, you know, doing the tests and everything else. And of course they said, you know, bye, don't call us, we'll call you, which, you know, you never know what's going to happen. It's the third callback. But I went back, I went to Serbia. You know, first I went to Montenegro. I just landed like an hour before the theater performance. I just, you know, went with the plane to the theater, put my costume, sat down, and I was like, maybe this was just a dream or the jet lag. The thing is, Thibault.
Okay, sure.
I didn't play.
A little bit of freedom.
I look like Juliet, but yeah. The thing is, 3 weeks after that, I was sitting with my friends in the bar, you know, it was like 3 in the morning, everybody was buzzed, and I saw my manager calling me like 3 in the morning, and I'm like, I don't know why this guy calling me, so I was like taking my phone, and I was like, yeah, I'm sleeping, man, you know, and he was like, no, you're not sleeping, you know, so you got the role. And at 3 in the morning, I couldn't like, I didn't know, and I was a bit buzzed. So, but that's one of the most beautiful moments, you know, I didn't sleep at all, just waiting for everybody to wake up. Unfortunately, I couldn't tell that to anybody except my girlfriend, my parents, until the movie was done, so.
Oh, that's annoying.
Yeah. And
why are you so happy all of a sudden?
Yeah, well, I know it. But it always goes like that in Better Call Saul, in Call of Duty. I'm always doing, and I'm thankful for that, but I always do projects that when I get the role, I cannot say anything.
Yeah.
Even now, I have some things going on, but I can just like give a hand.
Right. That's frustrating. Donc, quand il est arrivé de Los Angeles, il avait 1 heure pour se préparer pour le théâtre. Il a fait ça, épuisé, et environ 3 semaines plus tard, il était avec ses potes, il sortait, il était un peu bourré, et il reçoit un phone call de son agent pour dire écoute, t'as le boulot. Et il est super content, mais il peut rien dire à personne, il peut même pas dire à ses parents qu'il a fait son boulot, parce que tu signes the NDA. Hein? Et how long did it take between you getting the job and you being able to tell someone? How long was that? Did you tell your wife?
I had to, yeah, of course, my wife and my parents, and you know, but to tell people, it was like.
We got him, by the way.
6 months.
He told someone.
Yeah,
we've got him.
You don't want to jinx it, because trust me, you know, if it comes out somehow, I did by mistake say something somewhere on a Comic-Con, for example, in Uruguay, and it just came into the you know, newspaper somehow, somewhere. And then my manager get a call from, you know, somebody at Fox at the time, and they're like, why is he talking about it? And you're like, it was, you know, some small Comic-Con somewhere, you know, but it's just, you don't want to, you know, trust me, they can see and hear everything.
Il a bien sûr dit à sa femme et à ses parents à un moment que, écoute, j'ai ce boulot. Et il y avait un autre Comic-Con qu'il avait fait, il a dit Uruguay.
This is just an example. It was not in Uruguay, it was somewhere like that, but I just don't want to. Yeah.
Donc c'est un exemple, mais c'était dans un petit pays où il croyait qu'il pouvait juste dire des petites choses, et il avait accidentellement dit quelque chose, et c'était dans la presse. Après l'agent lui téléphone pour dire pourquoi t'as fait ça? Accidental,
That's the power of NDA, you know, when you sign that, you sold your soul in a way, until it's done. You just cannot do anything.
I've signed a couple of NDAs, but that was years and years ago. I'm still hoping for the job. It's good to hope. Il y a des questions pour Stefan? Pour Colossus? Oui, monsieur.
Hello, Stefan. I see you in the last Comic Con. And I know you are a big fan of comics. And I have one question. You have 4 or 5 moments like Kirk in the comics, Bird in metal.
With the beard in metal. You mean, would I laugh?
I think the question... Hello? I think the question was... Je crois que la question c'est est-ce qu'il s'est rasé pour faire la... Est-ce qu'il aura la barbe pour le... Oh,
Would I shave or what?
No, he's asking if Colossus, the human version, human form, has a beard?
No, well, as a matter of fact, in the comics now he has. Yeah, which is good, thank God. I don't know why, I just don't like my face when I'm, you know, shaved. And I had to do it for Call of Duty with, you know, of course, Nikolai is not my real face, but it's like 70%. But, you know, when I have to do it for Colossus, of course I have to do it when I'm under cameras and doing the mocap and PCAP. So, but I would love to, you know, just show myself with, you know, how I look.
Ouais, donc bien sûr, il s'est rasé pour faire la capture des animations, la motion capture. Et si un jour il joue Colossus et il peut se transformer en humain, it would be nice to keep the beard. Not important though, right? How would they do it? I suppose if the transformation happens, it doesn't matter what face you can have because the transformation will allow for. But
it would be, I think, the same, like it would be metal, but it would just be, I don't know, maybe different color.
But even Colossus's face is someone else's face, is that correct?
In the first one, yes. In the first one. Later on is my likeness. And,
okay, cool,
yeah,
cool.
In the second and the third one.
I can relate. I've done jobs where they just took everything from me. It was still a pleasure, but...
Yeah, you don't want me to go there. How much do they pay for those things? And you know, when they negotiate, yeah, it's insane.
Le premier Colossus, c'était pas son visage en plus, c'était le visage de quelqu'un d'autre. Et maintenant, c'est son visage à lui, et il change un petit peu, et donc, s'il se transforme en humain, ça sera lui. So that would be good. If you get your own thing and you get to transform as a human, it will be you. And I do think Colossus has gained some popularity because you're funny in it. Obviously, it's a relationship, but
he was always like a huge part of the X Men in comic books, and it was really important. But with Deadpool, he got this really cool fan base because, you know, he's something totally different than he was like in the comics, just like, you know, proper, well, as I like to say, he's like the original Man of Steel, you know, it's like a Superman kind of superhero. He's like the best in everything, father figure, you know, old Russian soul, like poetical, whatever. So, but with Deadpool, he got this another dimension, and I think that there's like so many more things that you can give with this character, you know, and to show it. Especially now with, we didn't see Fastball Special with Wolverine, with Hugh Jackman. So I think there's like so many stories that can be told, successful ones, because I think the superhero genre is a bit struggling at the moment.
Well, yeah, after Infinity Wars, it was such a crescendo that it's so hard to build from there. And I think everyone was saying that maybe the superhero genre had to take a bit of a break.
And then Deadpool and Wolverine happened, and it worked. But that's not, you know, a mainstream superhero movie, because all the other movies are really bad. You know, the Ant-Man, the last one, is like Star Wars / Muppet Show. It's bad.
And it was also like so... Yeah,
it's not good. I'm honest. I love comic book movies. You know, for example, I hated Iron Man as a comic book collector. I never bought the Iron Man comic book ever. But then we have Robert Downey Jr. doing the movie, and it's like one of the best Marvel movies. That's how Marvel became, you know.
Robert Downey Jr. really sold it. He was proper good.
He's now Dr. Doom, so let's see.
Je vais traduire. Je fais où là? Je dois traduire quoi? Oh my god, I've got your jet lag now. J'ai ton décalage d'horaire. I can't remember what I said.
We talked about movies and Marvel movies.
So, le personnage de Colossus, généralement il est un peu plus sérieux et tout ça, un peu de poétrie comme la russe, c'est un old soul, un vieux esprit. Et l'avoir ajouté en tant que personnage dans le monde de Deadpool, je lui ai donné un peu de rythme, un peu d'humeur, c'est un peu de fanbase. Maintenant les gens aiment Colossus, c'est pour ça que je crois qu'on pourrait voir un film juste avec Colossus, enfin pas juste les autres, mais the Colossus film, I can see it, I can see you at the helm. Il y a des questions? Oui monsieur, venez plus près.
Hello, nice to meet you. So I have two questions. So which scene in the Deadpool movies was the most fun for you to play? And B, do you think there could be a chance for you to appear in the next Avengers movie, maybe Doomsday or Civil War?
The movies that I really love to work on, and honestly, well, of course, superhero movies are a specific genre, but I love horror movies, you know, and I did the movie The Last Voyage of Demeter, which I become a vampire, yeah.
I don't remember you in it, but
I'm the only one that becomes a vampire.
You are?
Yeah.
It was such a good film.
I get burned in the end when the sun comes in one moment. So,
okay.
Yeah.
That's a badass film.
Yeah, it was a good film. Well filmed like 5 months. It was like connected. But regarding the second question, regarding the Doomsday and things, even if I'm not, I just, you know, it's something that you can see everything is going on, what's going on with the Doomsday. So, yeah.
Donc avec la réponse de Doomsday,
I hope so. I can just go.
Je vais redemander la première question. Donc avec Doomsday, il ne peut pas vraiment répondre s'il est dedans ou pas. Donc ça, il ne peut pas vraiment répondre. Un genre de film qu'il adore, c'est les films d'horreur. Par exemple, il était dans le film The Last Voyage of the Demeter, le dernier voyage de Demeter. Je ne sais pas comment ça s'est traduit en français, parce que quelquefois les titres ne sont pas exacts. Et but one of the questions he asked was which of the Deadpools was your favorite to film?
Oh, which Deadpool was?
I think which scene in the Deadpool movies was the most fun for you to
For me?
Which scene as well, specifically scene?
A specific scene is, well, as I said, the one that I did, you know, 4 or 5 moments in which I stopped Deadpool, that's something that's really important, but the favorite scene is from the sequel with the fight with Juggernaut, because it's an anthology X Men fight, which I adored as a kid. But for example, my favorite quote in the whole movie is "Accept language, please." One, but the other was the most stupid one. But breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and people love it. And it's like. But when Colossus says that to Negasonic, that's kind of, that's who he is.
Il a adoré faire la scène avec, quand il se bataille avec Juggernaut, which was awesome by the way, because I'm not well versed with the comic world.
And Ryan was playing Juggernaut.
Oh, he was?
Yeah, that was Ryan Reynolds. Yeah,
okay, that's cool. And so, I was in shock, I was like, how are they going to defeat Colossus? And when I saw Juggernaut, I was like, yes. You know, it was nice to see you get your ass beat for a bit. It was good. Donc ça, c'était une des batailles préférées. Et il aime bien en fait les phrases qu'il doit dire avec, tu sais, avec le tone. Le ton. Le ton, c'est aussi poisson, ça. Donc avec le ton de la sériosité de Colossus. Donc par exemple, breakfast is the most important part. I'm not going to be able to do it, but c'est le petit déjeuner le plus important moment de la journée. C'est dire des choses tellement simples, mais avec la férocité de Colossus. Donc ça, that was cool. Il y a des autres questions? Yes, venez plus proche si vous avez des questions, ça m'aiderait.
Hello. I wanted to ask, how does it feel to play a Russian character with a Russian accent as a Balkan person? Yeah. How does it feel to play a Russian character as a Balkan person?
How does it feel to play a Russian character?
Well, she said as an American person. I
I'm
suppose.
not American. Oh, okay, oh, yeah. Well, it's a bit, well, it's easy, and you know, in general, as somebody who's coming from Eastern Europe, Central Europe in a way, there's not, and you know, there's not so many superheroes that you can play. There's some villains, but I got when I was a kid, I was always thinking, you know, like, you know, you have these kind of, you know, there's like Americans, well, you have some Germans, French, whatever. But for me, it was always like as an actor, like option to be possibly Colossus or Omega Red or Kraven the Hunter, which I wanted most in a way, because Kraven should be, the movie came out, but as a matter of fact, it's better that it didn't came out. So you never know. It's an honor and it's a pleasure to, you know, have this opportunity anyway.
C'est un plaisir d'avoir cette opportunité, et c'est le fait que il n'y a pas autant de super-héros qui ont une origine soviète, quoi, russe. Et donc aussi c'est un comédien, quoi, il peut jouer n'importe quoi. You're a comedian, you're an actor. You know, so you get to play whatever nationality to a certain degree, right? Et il voulait vraiment jouer le rôle de Kraven the Hunter, Kraven le chasseur, je sais pas. Mais ça n'a pas été pour lui. Mais ça n'a pas vraiment eu du succès, hein, Kraven the Hunter. Donc il est en quelque sorte il est un peu content. Des autres questions? Yes.
Thank you for your being here. And it's interesting that you're talking about horror, because in the comics, Colossus has a sister named Iliana Rasputin that was played by Anya Taylor-Joy in the horror movie The Mutants. And because your version of Colossus is quite humoristic, comedic, wouldn't that be interesting to create some kind of a duo between her and you, maybe?
That was supposed to happen, and there was some plans in the Fox studios before we went back home to Marvel, to Disney. But there was like a few scripts in which Colossus would meet his sister, and I adore Anya Taylor-Joy, and I think in New Mutants she was amazing as Magic. So I'm hoping that, you know, because you can see that lots of these Fox roles are staying in Marvel Universe, they're not getting cancelled, so I'm hoping that, you know, we can get some, you know, I'm gonna see her in the movie.
So Colossus, just forgive me because I'm not well versed, Colossus has a sister who also has powers.
Yes.
Okay.
She's in the New Mutants, and she was played by Anya Taylor-Joy.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I've seen that.
Yeah. So they're like brothers, she's like younger sister.
Okay, that's cool. So yeah, so a duo would be quite cool to see. Donc il y a peut-être des.
We were supposed to do X-Force, in which, you know, she would show up, but X-Force for now doesn't exist, but, you know, we'll see.
Donc peut-être dans le futur, il y aura un moment où frère et sœur, Colossus et what's her name? Magique, pourraient peut-être faire un film ensemble, ou au moins une scène, on verra. Mais ouais, ce serait bien, it would be quite a fun partnership, a fun duo. What was your... How challenging was it to act in mocap, knowing that you had to use all your imagination, you had to fill all the gaps pretty much, right?
In the beginning it was really complicated, but, you know, after some time, because everybody was there, you know, and Ryan and all the other guys, you know, so we did all the scenes as they were before. So you kind of get into it, and it's, in the beginning it's irritating and it's complicated, but once you get through it, it becomes really easy.
Okay.
So it helped me a lot to do Call of Duty after that, in which everything is like, everybody is in mocap and PCAP.
Au début, motion capture c'est un peu dur, mais après tout d'un coup tu trouves le rythme, et il y a toute l'équipe là de toute façon, donc il y a une complicité, il y a de l'humeur, et tout ça c'est chouette. Et une autre chose que j'avais oublié de dire, je ne sais pas si vous savez, moi je ne savais pas, Juggernaut est joué par Ryan Reynolds. Et donc je crois que that must have been fun to also have him.
Yeah, which I didn't know until I came to the set, because they were like doing all these things. And, you know, I saw him like putting all the suits, and I'm like, you know, why are you doing that? Because there was no Deadpool at that moment. So he was like, well, I'm doing this too. Which was, and nobody knew that until the movie came out, not even then.
Right,
you know,
right.
so it was interesting.
And did you know, I'm assuming you know, but Brad Pitt makes a cameo in Deadpool 2.
Yeah, as Vanisher.
That's so cool. Donc Brad Pitt a un petit caméo aussi dans Deadpool 2, juste quand le mec se fait électrifier. Tu sais, quand il saute du parachute, il y a un mec qui se fait électrifier, c'est juste le visage de Brad Pitt.
And he didn't want to take any money, he just like got like a coffee, that was his, you know.
Ouais, il voulait juste un café.
He just wanted like one coffee for this role, and yeah.
Des autres questions? Oui, venez plus proche. Si vous avez une question, venez.
If you could play any other superhero, who would it be?
What?
If you could play any other superhero, who would it be?
Any other superhero? So I can choose any accent, whoever was, okay, I would go. Man, I would love to be, you know, like Punisher kind of thing. Like, Punisher is one of my favorites. Batman, in my case, I started with Batman, then went to Punisher. Because Punisher is the dark Batman, and I love the, you know,
The dark
yes, as dark as we can go.
Ok, il aime bien jouer les personnages, enfin il aimerait bien jouer les personnages qui sont vraiment dans les ténèbres, tu vois, la mentalité de l'enfer. Enfin, je passe pas ça correctement, mais par exemple Batman et tout ça, ils sont plus sombres dans leur personnage, dans leur caractère. Il aimerait bien faire cette exploration. Man, I have to find the words to translate. It's so exhausting, dude. It's so exhausting. Il y a des autres questions? Une autre question, enfin deux autres questions et après on va venir. Viens plus près.
Which one in comic book you prefer for Colossus? Which one you prefer to read of Colossus in X Men comics?
Which
One story you prefer?
Which story?
Which comic book in?
Generally, I love, you know, because, for example, I love the origin of Colossus, you know, especially like, and I have one, this is like one of the most precious comic books that I have. It's like the original giant X Men from 1975. And this one that I found was, has an autograph by Len Wein and Dave Cockrum, who are like, you know, the creators of this new X Men from 1975. So I love this whole thing and the whole Chris Claremont X Men story, because unfortunately I'm more into like old school bronze and gold and silver age than the new ones. They're just coming out every day, so I cannot get into that. But all these, you know, oldies, like oldies, so they work for me.
The one that's signed, what's the name of it?
Giant-sized X-Men.
Giant size.
Giant-sized. It was bigger than the other ones.
Okay.
And it's the origin of Storm, Colossus, Nightcrawler.
Oh, okay.
It's the first appearance of
And
all
you've
of
got a
them.
whole library of different comics, yeah.
Unfortunately, a lot of comic book people can know that, but my wife is not, you know, doesn't like my collections. So I have like to put them in the boxes.
Just buy a bigger house.
Well, but I love to, you know, I love them to be with me too.
Yeah.
I love to watch them. They're like, why do you watch? I'm just like looking at my comic books. I love just to have them there, not in the boxes. People who collect, you know, things, they understand me. So it's, but you know, we find a compromise. So I have my own room for all these things. But now I have two little kids, 5 and 2, and they like to rip those pages. And now that's the other kind of a problem. So I just need to find a way to until they're like 10 or something.
Even, yeah, once their hands aren't sticky, basically. Et il a toute une collection de bandes dessinées. Ça s'appelle bande dessinée en français ou pas? Ou c'est comics? C'est comics. Donc il a toute une collection qui ne peut plus sortir maintenant parce que sa femme n'aime pas trop ça. Mais ils sont tous dans des boîtes, tout ça. Et il a aussi des enfants de 2-3 ans. 2-3 5 and 2, 5 et 2. Et donc il ne peut pas vraiment en sortir trop. Mais il aime bien ça. C'est un geek, quoi. Il aime bien le monde des super-héros. Et il a même une copie de Giant Size, donc c'était une copie avec toutes les origines de super-héros. Et c'est signé, it was signed by the creators, yeah?
Yeah.
The 1975 version.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And one of them is not, well, both of them are not alive anymore.
You know, every story needs to go through, every character needs to go through an arc and learn a lesson, right? Colossus seems so wise already, and in his core, as in Zen, it seems like he's Zen. What possible lesson could he learn?
Well, he sacrificed himself in one of those stories. Like he died for, you know, the other X Men. So, you know, he kind of did everything that a character can do.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you know, he gave his life for the better, and so on and so on.
So, but what's the lesson? If there is one. If there is one. Je demandais juste que, généralement...
I don't know, it's a deep thing right now with jet lag. I don't want to say something that sounds stupid because it's much different level.
Ok, yeah, fair enough. Donc j'avais demandé que généralement, les personnages dans un film, ils vont traverser un arc, ils vont faire un voyage où ils apprennent quelque chose. Et pour moi, Colossus, il a pas... On dirait qu'il est très sage. C'est une sagesse, pas juste sage.
In a way, there is nothing more important than to, you know, protect your loved ones.
Yeah, yeah.
And the lesson would be that you have to do whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah, to just protect the ones that you love. In a way, that's the ultimate superhero thing, you know. And it's not a superhero, it's a human thing, in a way.
Yeah.
Look what's going on today in the world, so that we live in a crazy world.
Yeah.
We would need few of those Colossuses to help, just like, you know. But unfortunately, we don't have them, you know. So
they're out there.
I hope so.
They're out there.
We'll see.
Et donc j'avais demandé, avec la sagesse qu'il a, qu'est-ce que Colossus pourrait apprendre. Et il a dit que se sacrifier pour l'humanité, pour l'amour des autres, c'est ça qui est important. Et en ce moment, avec les choses qui sont en train de se passer politiquement, politiquement et tout ça, on a besoin de plus de Colossus. Peut-être pas trop de sacrifier, to sacrifice oneself for the love of humanity, maybe, or protéger ceux que tu aimes, quoi. Et tu dois faire n'importe quoi pour les protéger. You must do whatever you can to protect them. Et donc c'est ça que, si c'est un film, ça sera l'arc, ça sera Maybe He'll Die. Une autre question, monsieur, vous avez une question et après on va...
I think they're waiting, yeah. Yeah, no, I would like to stay forever. I don't mind. I love answering questions.
How is it to play with Ryan Reynolds?
To play with Ryan Reynolds?
Yes, how is it?
That man, there is like so many amazing actors in the world, but there is not even one actor that can do Deadpool better than Ryan Reynolds. That guy is so fast, he's so funny, he's so quick, he's great in improv. So, you know, and the funniest thing is like, because when you're working with him, you cannot hold your smile, you know. Thank God for me, because I held all the cameras, but the other actors, they're just like laughing out loud. So that's the only problem with him, is that he's so funny, but he helped, and he is helping every, you know, colleague of his. So working with him was a blast. Really a blast.
Un des plaisirs de travailler avec Ryan Reynolds, c'est qu'il est super marrant. Il trouve toujours des blagues dans l'improvisation. Et quelquefois c'est tellement dur parce que tu ne peux pas t'arrêter de rigoler autour de lui. Pour lui c'était pas trop dur parce qu'il avait tout le mocap, mais avec les autres, quelquefois il devait s'arrêter. Mais Ryan Reynolds, il inspire les autres parce qu'il a de l'humeur. Parce que it's just so fun to work with him, and therefore no stress almost.
No stress, and the whole cast is always coming to, you know, the day of filming with a smile on their face. You know, working with this kind of a thing is beautiful, because you know that you're doing something really good and really funny, and there is no stress on the set at all.
Donc grâce à son humeur, il n'y avait pas de stress sur le plateau, et donc il y a une meilleure collaboration, et donc il y a de meilleurs résultats, quoi. Voilà. Thank you so much for being in Paris.
Thank you so much for having me here. Thank you guys. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Stefan, can we still photo? Merci beaucoup. Un petit repos et je vais revenir.